Okay, so we are going to start looking at responsive design and responsive CSS. And what that means is that we're going to have the design of our page change as the size of the page changes. Okay, so it's going to respond based on what device it's on, and if we're on a desktop, how big the window is. Because for this little demo site that I made, it's just a demo personal site, it looks okay at a large screen size, but certainly by the time we're here, this is not working how I want it to work. So the first thing we're going to do in this video is just learn about media queries, which are how we switch our CSS based on the device. And then in later videos, we'll take care of this grid, and we'll also take a look at our font size. So I want to write what is called a media query. And a media query says this CSS will apply when these conditions are met. So we start by writing @media and then parentheses, and we're going to put a condition. And the conditions that you're almost always going to be looking at are max and min width. Okay, so we do max width, and then we tell it where we want this CSS to apply. So what this says is for any screens that have a maximum width of 1100 pixels, apply these CSS rules. And then I like to write a rule to test whether my media query is working. So I'm just going to say background color is basically black. You can have another word here. You can have print or screen or all. That tells it basically, does this rule apply to screens? Does it apply to print? We're almost always working on screens, so you can just leave it out. This works fine. So now if I go below 1100 pixels and my media query is working, my background color changes. So all that happens is my CSS changes at this point. Okay, I could make this apply, I could switch this to min width 1100 pixels, and that means that as long as my screen is 1100 pixels and bigger, these rules are going to apply. And then when it's smaller, they're not going to. So a lot of people will tell you to design your site for mobile first, because it's most likely that people are going to be accessing it on mobile in certain situations. It's basically up to you. You're going to do both. So if you do mobile first, then we write rules like this that will overwrite our previous rules. But if you've designed like a desktop or a large scale version, then we're going to use max width here. So really, really basic, really simple. The main ideas are how to write a media query, @media, parentheses, your conditions go in here with separated by a colon. You can get really fancy in here if you want to read more about that. And then inside these curly braces, so inside here and here, we have complete CSS rules, just like we're writing up here. And because these come after, they're going to overwrite these rules if the condition is met. All right, so in later videos, we will do more interesting things.